Hi everyone, and welcome back. In this video, I would like to introduce you to one of my recent designs, the Cavell Sweater. In most cases, what inspires me to design something is the yarn. That usually is my starting off point. I'm fortunate to be surrounded by so many beautiful yarn and color options. So basically, I look at my stash and I think, what do I feel like working with? And once I've chosen, I go from there and decide, what do I want to make? The yarn I chose was Pasture Sock. It's a superwash BFL wool yarn. It has beautiful drape. Even though it is superwash, it feels like a non-superwash yarn. And what I mean by that is that it really does hold its wooliness. Usually with superwash yarns, because of the process that it goes through to make it superwash, it loses a lot of its elasticity, a lot of its integrity. But if it's done just right, the yarn really is able to retain its bounciness, its wooliness, and that's what I really love about this BFL base that I carry in my store. It is just a really resilient yarn, and it really does lend itself well to color work. I was really in the mood to work with a lot of color. I love Fair Isle sweaters, so I knew that when I was looking at the colors that I had available in this BFL base that I really wanted to utilize that and make something really colorful and do the stranded color work technique, which I don't do often. In the process of creating a sweater, there are many things that you need to consider, and usually that starts with doing a swatch of the yarn that you want to use. So I'm going to talk about that process a little bit later on, but right now, because the yarn is the jumping off point, I just want you to sit back and enjoy the dyeing process of the colors that I used for this sweater. There were a few books that I looked through for inspiration, and I'm going to share those books with you. So I'm going to start with this one from Alice Starmore. And it is just chock full of charts. So these are all kind of like stranded color work, Fair Isle, different motifs that can be used in designs. And I found this book to be so inspirational. So in fact, one of the patterns, I believe this one here, is what I used to get inspiration for the main motif of the sweater. So it's not exact, but that was kind of the jumping off point for me in coming up with that. So this is a really amazing book, and I literally spend hours just pouring through different books to get ideas of patterns to use in my design. So this is just a beautiful book. And I like too that the charts are in black and white, because then I can imagine what colors I would like to use, and it just gives me a blank canvas. So I really like how this book is formatted. Now, another source of dictionaries that I love are Japanese stitch dictionaries. And this one, the focus is on color work. And so there is a lot of inspiration in this book as well. It is just chock full of not only patterns, but also color inspiration. It's wonderful to see how different colors can be put together and how the motifs look when done in several different color combinations. So this, I believe this is the one of the patterns. I think I use this for the sleeve and collar of the design. And then for this part, I used, I think, maybe I won't be able to find it. I don't quite remember. Oh, here it is. I believe I used this, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do think either that or a chart that was similar to that. And then when you combine different charts, then you can really come up with something unique and new. And here is another Japanese stitch dictionary, and I just love this one because there is so many unique patterns and stitches that I've never seen anywhere. So I just love this, like even just looking at these charts just blow me away. But what a great source of inspiration. And so I just like looking at these because it really helps me to see what possibilities are out there. And of course I put papers and mark the pages that I want to explore later and maybe use in the design. So this is just incredible. Like, look at this. Like, what an interesting stitch. I don't even know how you would do that. But this book is just full of unique stitches and ideas. A lot of them are so complex looking, but that's part of the, that's how you grow, you know, in your skill, you know, is to be challenged and to see new things. Like, look at this. Like, look at that texture. I don't know how you would even do that, but the charts are in here. It's in Japanese, so I don't know if I'd... Oh, look at that. It's in English. Okay, so that's good. Gonna have to look at this book more closely for ideas, but just look at this texture. Like, they're just works of art. So those are those 3 books that I look through to get inspired for this design. So the foundation of any design is a swatch of the stitches or patterns that you intend to use. So with this design, this is what I started out with. So when you look at it, you can kind of see the motifs in there, but the colors I chose don't really show the pattern off well. But until I knit this swatch up, I didn't know that. So it's really important to try out the colors that you intend to use on a small scale before you invest in something big, so that you can see if what you have in mind is going to work. So I love all of these colors individually, but they didn't work out the way I thought they would in this pattern. So I had to change things up. So this was really valuable for me to find out. As well, I knit this in a gauge that was kind of loose. So I used a bigger needle for this. And when I felt it, I didn't really like how the fabric turned out. So again, knitting this test swatch really helped me to work out a lot of problems before I invested the time and effort in writing the pattern and doing the finished design. This is where you want to make all the mistakes and do all your problem solving, is at this stage. So with that information, I was able to refine the idea. So you see with this swatch how much clearer that pattern is. You can really see the snowflake design. The colors I chose, it really pops. I used 3 colors here, and instead of becoming muddy, these 3 colors really complement each other and make the motif really pop and stand out. So you can see the difference. I used the same motif here, and you can barely see it. Plus, I like the gauge, and I like the yarn I chose here. I used just a solid merino yarn for this, which was nice. I love merino yarn, but this BFL yarn had a texture that I preferred, and I really think it suited, you know, the design that I had in mind. And I used a tighter gauge, so I really like how this turned out. I think the patterning looks really nice and crisp. I love the drape of this fabric. So, you know, just doing this swatch really helped me to problem solve and come up with something that I really liked in the end. So again here, so this here was for the main body, the main motif, and then this I did a sample of what was going to be on the border of the sweater, as well as the sleeves and the cuffs. And so I just tested to see how these motifs look together, if they worked. And then I could put them together with the other swatch just to see if I like how the patterns flowed, and I could work out the order that I was gonna knit the colors. So doing swatches, doing several of them, it's so key. I even did just a little swatch of the ribbing because I didn't know if I wanted a solid color for the ribbing of the cuffs and the border of the sweater. In the end, because I couldn't choose because I liked both of these colors, I decided to use both of them. And again, I can put these pieces together and really imagine what the finished product was going to look like. So I was so pleased with, how these turned out. And then using these, I was able to write and finalize the dimensions and the shaping and the design of the sweater. The Cavell Sweater pattern is available on my website and on Ravelry. If you like the colors that I used for the sample of this pattern, I have a few kits available on my website. I really enjoyed the process of bringing this design to life. If you like this type of content and want to see more, then please subscribe to my channel. You can hit the bell notification to be notified of when I put out new content. And I want to thank you as always for the support that you've shown my channel. I love reading your comments, so please keep those coming. Again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.